So as a kid, I always enjoyed sort of playing around in the dirt, actually, and I always loved looking for arrowheads and digging around and stuff. And I've always just sort of enjoyed talking to other people and getting other people's perspectives. I've always loved talking to people who were vastly different than myself. In my first year at college, I took a class with the person who is now my advisor, Stephen Acabado, and he talked about his project in the Philippines, and I wanted to go. I was like, I'm going to try this out. And I was lucky enough to get into that field school, and I went to the Philippines, to Ifugao, and I loved it. I loved digging. I loved hanging out in a very different place than I had ever been accustomed to. And that's when I decided that, yeah, this was something I was going to pursue. Hi, I'm Robin Meyer-Lorey, and my project is Resistance and Cultural Persistence, Medicine, Resources, and Religion in Spanish Colonial Bicol, Philippines. So this last summer, I worked in Bicol in the Philippines, which is a region in sort of the southern portion of Luzon, and it also consists of a few islands a little bit south of Luzon. But we stayed in Luzon, around Naga City in a little town called Camaligan. That region is just really interesting because of the colonial past, because of the way that Catholicism was adopted there. It's a great place because there is such this cosmopolitan mix of cultures. I went with an existing archaeological excavation, but I was really responsible for one section of that work and responsible for my own project. And so really having that level of responsibility and being able to self-direct and self-monitor was a really important experience. And beyond that, revisiting some of the old sites that I'd been to. I revisited Ifugao, and seeing some of the people again who I had worked with and who I had met in my very first time going to the Philippines was really special. It was nice to keep those connections alive and really see what it's like for a researcher when you keep going back and seeing the same people again. One of the big conflicts for me was, how do I, as an outsider, really contribute and really speak honestly to the voices and needs of the people who I'm doing my research with. And I think that ultimately what I wanted to do was end up working for the local community and representing them as best as I could. Not as an outsider coming in and trying to tell them what I'd found about them, but as an outsider coming in and trying to use the resources and the skills that I've gained from school to represent what they want as best as they can. The advice that I would give would be to keep finding something in your work that you're excited about. It's going to be really hard. You're going to have days where you feel useless. You're going to have days where you feel like you don't have anything to write about. You're going to have days where you have too much to write about, where you have too much work on your plate. And you are going to be stressed out. You are going to have to work your ass off. And it really is, it's going to be terrible at some points. But as long as you can try and keep the initial excitement that you had about your project when you were first thinking it up, I think that you'll be able to really see it through. As long as you can keep writing, and as long as you can keep coming up with ideas that make you excited and reignite that interest and that passion, you'll be able to get the most that you can out of this project. As much as, doing research is great for putting on a resume or telling people about, what it really does for you personally is in some sense up to you. You have to get every little bit that you can out of it, and to do that, I think you have to stay passionate. And there will be times where you can't, but try.